Geekology. I'm David.
And I'm Sven.
And what you're about to see is a roundtable conversation we had with some friends of ours.
Now, we've got on the conversation Chris, Damien and Tony, and we were talking about Beyond and Discovery.
We'll put links to their channels down below.
And you'll probably see an eye pop up occasionally with their channel links as well.
You're pretty good with those.
I do try.
Okay, we hope you like the conversation.
We'll do a quick introduction for people who may not know us all and who may be listening at home. But thanks for joining us on today's podcast panel where we're going to discuss Discovery primarily and beyond. So I am Damien, aka Irish Trekkie. We have Chris, the Trek Collector, and we have David and Sven from Geekology as well. So if you want to say hi, guys.
Hello.
And I'll say hi on your respective channels as well. So the hot topic today is Discovery for a while anyway. So gentlemen, SDC has come and gone, and we saw the reveal of the trailer, and we've been hinted at some information. What was the initial? What was your reaction to the trailer? Without going into too much detail, just reaction.
Before. Basically, I was like, wait a minute, and it's coming out of an asteroid. Someone's taking the mic.
I'll be absolutely honest. I knew they were going to release a trailer. I thought, I'll look forward to seeing that later on in the day. Didn't get around to seeing it, and then my phone just went boom, ballistic with, I hate this, what the hell. I thought, what on earth have they possibly released? I saw like 20 seconds of ship and went, that's a really short teaser trailer, that'd be good. And then I'm reading all this hate mail going, how can you slag a show off they've not even started filming? What the hell?
And this is the thing, is that literally what popped into my head the moment I saw it was this double-page spread from the art of Star Trek. It was like, well, there we go.
Same as me. I think I was one of the first ones to post on Twitter and straight on the bandwagon and goes, looks familiar. And I did kind of slag off the design and say it was put in the bin for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't like the ship.
I don't blame you.
It's growing on me.
I have to eat humble pie because I did my own personal log and I said it's not very Star Trek, Starfleet kind of a style of a ship. And doing a bit of research and looking into it, this ship has appeared twice in the Star Trek universe.
It is canon.
It's in Star Trek 3. It's canon. It's in Space Dock. When I think it's before Kirk gets the Enterprise A. It's hidden away there, and it's also at the Battle of Wolf 359.
Yeah, and Quail
so
2.
Technically, it's a canon ship. So, guys,
it was in Quail 2.
Was it?
Guys, I am sorry, I lied to you. It's a canon ship, so I'm eating humble pie.
Yeah,
but that's beside the point. I mean, the NX series, which I absolutely hated, and I hated them even more in the further timeline when they were actually designed to fight the Borg. Forget the fact that they weren't originally...
Kira class, you mean?
Yeah, Kira class, right?
Yeah.
I've always hated that. It did not affect my love or hate of Enterprise. Mainly hate. But the ship doesn't really affect how you feel about the show. It just gives you something to go, oh, good
But the look on your face when you saw the NX-01 refit...
Oh, the refits, man. Yeah.
I've seen your video when you were doing the review of the NX Mirror one, and yeah, I know that's the only one thing that you like from Enterprise, and I know that you're a fan of season 4 of Enterprise. I actually liked Enterprise, but the NX, what time period do you think this is going to go into?
This is the thing, is that when you bear in mind this ship was originally designed to be a Constitution class refit.
Yes.
It puts it anywhere.
And the registry number is after the Constellation.
1031.
Yeah, because Constellation was 1017.
Yeah.
And she was Constitution class, so maybe there were 2 runs of Constitution class ships, and it was only the second run that were the 12 that went out to do the 5-year mission.
Possible.
But the other thing you've got to bear in mind is, in the Star Trek universe, in the timeline for DS9, you still had Excelsior classes running around, for God's sake.
Reliance,
So
yeah.
we
Soyuz.
don't know how old it is. We don't know what's happening. I mean, it could be one coming back from an extended mission. It could be one just about to go into an extended mission.
It could have just had a refit because it's a refit.
Yeah.
Could have just had a new paint job, and that was why it was in there. We don't know.
If they go down the path of it's a Constitution class refit variant, then it could be 40 years old by the time we're seeing it, or it could be 140 years old. They're bringing it out of mothballs for the Dominion War.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Enterprise, when we very, very first saw it, was already 240 years old.
What do you want? What?
The Cage. They specified how old the Enterprise was because she was an old ship.
Yeah,
I know it was bollocks, but the point is still the same. I don't know how old the ships are. They, other than a handful of them. Oh, it's all shiny.
Because they didn't date the Enterprise until the animated series when Robert April was introduced.
Yeah.
Whether you use, but I take it when you mentioned the Dominion War, you are going with this the line of you reckon it's gonna be Nemesis time.
It could be any time. We don't know.
It could be open.
If you sort of jump out there and just say where you think what time period do you think it's in?
Undiscovered country.
You're going undiscovered country.
But the thing is they've already said that the rumor of it being between Undiscovered Country and Next Gen is false.
So it could be before and after. That's what we know for sure. That it's definitely not between those two, but it could be before or after.
I'm going between after Enterprise to TOS.
Mm-hmm. I've got a feeling it might be a case of this ship was refitted prior to the Phase 2 refit, so they might go along the lines of it's in canon the same kind of time frame as it was in real life, if you see what I mean. So this was a prototype refit before they did the Phase 2 refit on the Enterprise. And it was mothballed because it didn't work. And then came back into it. And there's Tony!
Tony!
Well, while you threw out your theory, I'm going to try out my theory. I reckon that this ship could be captured by the Tolians.
Whoa.
So captured a Klingon ship.
That is not man that drinks.
For those listening at home, Soundwave SG1 Tony has just joined. He's a little bit late. We won't hold it against him.
I've had a few technical issues this morning.
Was it alcohol?
Hangover and hangover.
No, actually, I've got a hangover this morning. My internet's been playing up some awful last couple of days, so
it's all good. No worries.
Anyway, I'm here.
Glad that you're here. We're just trying to surmise the where Discovery is set in the Prime timeline. So, Chris was just going through. So, Chris, you have a theory there that it's
I reckon, in between Enterprise, TOS, I think maybe the Tolians and bring them into Star Trek, which would be fairly cool. They have captured a Federation ship, they've captured a Klingon ship, they've merged the two, and there's a Federation squad team that are going in to take their ship back, and lo and behold, they see that the Discovery is being kind of cannibalized, and they're like, okay, we'll take it and hop. New ship.
Hey, do you know, now you said that, that's exactly what I think, but I didn't think the Tholians might have done it. I thought it might be a cross between a Klingon and a Federation ship, due to the fact that when the ship was announced, the pictures, the little video, somebody did the meme of the Enterprise and the Klingon battlecruiser was like, hey, what you doing? Just chilling.
What is it, Trek and chill?
And I went, but actually, you know what? Despite it being a joke, it actually makes kind of sense. And now you've said that, the Tholians might have been messing around. Not the first time they stole the Federation ship.
Yeah, but like to me, it makes a lot of sense in this. Like, why then the Federation would keep that ship? Because okay, you go in, you're trying to get your own ship back. You see, what's happened to it? Don't care. Let's get it out. It's Federation technology. Yes, there's a bit of Klingon, but the Federation are at war with the Klingons. Happy days. They got a bit of Klingon technology, Federation technology. It could be more advanced for that time. Hold on to the ship.
Tholian technology as well.
Yeah, so to me, and if it does go that way, I think it's going to be, you know, the way how we're all saying the hatred of the ship, and I say I don't like, but, and as you guys said, it's more about the ship, you know, I mean, it is about the show, and the script writing and the stories is what we want, and that's why we love Star Trek. But if you do kind of look at that kind of a storyline, then it makes sense, and then you go, wow. And then what did they do with the Discovery? Which, to me, I if they go along with that one, I would be happy. The only thing is that I'm worried about is it's such that timeline between Enterprise and TOS is kind of around another production that was kind of, and I won't really get into it, but I hope they don't touch anything on a certain more.
Yeah, agreed. For the sake of fandom, agreed. Like this whole trailer kind of confuses me, and David touched on something fantastic there a while ago, that it's literally, I'll tell you now, it's literally 1 minute and 16 seconds, and primarily that is the logo at the front or at the end and the CBS thing, so it's less than 1 minute long. But the reaction of hate that it's spewed online over it, it is crazy. And like, they have said that this is preliminary, nothing's finalized just yet, but like there's just some unusual things about it. Winding the clock back to what Brian was saying earlier, like, they're looking at race cars for ship inspiration. We know, as Sven said, that it's not between Undiscovered Country and TNG, but it could be after or before. But there's a lot of questions that this does pose, like the colour of the ship, possibly touching on what you were saying, Chris, that it's a kind of hybridized, kit bash from the Tholians and the Klingons. But like, what do you think of the scale of the ship? Like, to me, it looks very big when you look at the window placements and stuff like that, and the kind of the multi-layered saucer section as well. It does look like a very, very large ship. What do you think about that?
I think it's at least the size of Voyager, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if that
I'd say bigger than that.
Saucer, then the saucer does look quite small compared with the secondary hull and the nacelles.
Yeah.
So that would obviously make it bigger than the A, for instance.
I'm gonna stick on my theory that if I'm putting it between Enterprise and TOS, you're probably looking at a saucer section, probably in and around the size of Constitution. The rest of the ship then is a bit huge, but
it looks about four. It looks about 4 decks deep. When you look at the edge, you have 2 rows of lights, and then there's or possibly 5 decks, because there's 2 rows of windows, and then there's a row in between each of those as well. And then we have the kind of concave and convex shapes throughout that saucer section as well. So it does look small, as Sven was saying, between the drive, but it still looks like a very substantial saucer section.
It's obviously picked up a lot of influence from the Fronto.
Yeah.
In that saucer section.
Yeah, that inner ring detail. Yeah.
I mean, have CBS and Paramount started talking about linking this in some way when they say they can't? Misinformation again?
Can I also point out that you guys are making a fatal Star Trek flaw?
What?
Because you're looking at it going, there's a deck, there's a deck, there's a deck, there's 3 decks.
No,
You're forgetting the effect of, this ship has so many decks. It's whatever the script writers cram in there and say, you can analyse it and go, it's this by this and this. But
that's what we're going to do.
To turn around and go, actually, we just painted those lines.
But we have a minute of footage that we're going to analyse. God damn it, David.
Star Trek fans, we analyse every last little, nanoframe of everything. Down to the last second, So.
It's like when I was talking.
Fans, we know Mike Okido was, in charge of that kind of stuff, because he'd tone it down and say to the script writers, look, the ship's finalised. You have 15 decks. You can't have deck 26 in the script.
And also,
unless it's the Enterprise A.
Series might literally be that ship coming out of space dock, and then another Federation ship just blowing it up, and that being the ship we actually did.
Yeah.
You don't know. This could literally just be the director going, LOL. I mean, it could gotcha.
We could see the 1031-A like 20 minutes into the TV show.
My initial reaction on Twitter and Facebook was that, like, hopefully for mid-season one for that in between break, that the Discovery gets destroyed. So
yeah. I think everyone was holding their fingers crossed for that, like,
To me, where like I wouldn't have minded it too much, but I just think the Franklin style saucer section to me is just, look, guys, you know, we've never seen that before in Prime universe on a Federation ship, and to me, it's just kind of upsets me. Like, everyone's arguing and saying, let the JJ verse go off and start going in their own direction, which they did very well and beyond. And now that CBS are kind of nicking their stuff.
If you look at the saucer section as well, the name and the register number using the same font as the JJ prize as well.
I thought it was
irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
JJ prize.
Yeah,
I
never.
It was more TOS style, but yeah, I'll look at the registry again. But like, why are they nicking ideas off JJ verse? Like, we go on Prime.
The work's already done and sitting on their hard drives.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, maybe it's just something they throw out quickly as they could. So
are we all saying that this is typical CBS doing a Star Trek production and using all their stock footage that they can?
Well, let me ask one very
loads of episodes with ships that we've already seen, and I want to see that NX refit in there somewhere at some point in the show. I'd love to see it.
But at the end of the day, they've got a history of doing this. I mean, during the big battles in the Dominion Wars, how many Galaxy-class carcasses did we see in the background? Even if they'd have pulled all of them from Space Dock and built a few, there were still too many. They just went, hit the Excelsior key a few times, add the Galaxy classes, and do this. Just use whatever they've got kicking around and good to go.
That's true.
If you look at the original, those Galaxies, they all say 1701D on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like you're talking about the limitations of past productions, you know, huge costs. Now, obviously, with computers the way they've gone and people's expertise, it's become much more accessible. So that really shouldn't be the fallback excuse anymore.
Yeah, well,
you know, it shouldn't be. Yeah.
But it is.
When you look towards the end of DS9, they started going into more CG and all that, so it was easier to create new ships. Then you go to Voyager, and then you go to Enterprise, and we were spoiled with ships in Enterprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a lot more. So.
This is why I hope at some point they actually revisit Deep Space Nine. Okay, it's not going to be for Blu-ray and 1080p anymore. It might be for 4K at this point. But you've got to ask the question: if they've just remastered Wrath of Khan in 4K and they're remastering Transformers the movie, the animated one, in 4K, why can't we have bloody Deep Space Nine and Voyager in 4K?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love Deep Space Nine in 4K now. Or, you know, Deep Space Nine is always. But like, are we going to kind of see? Do you think it's going to be the style of the Deep Space Nine series that, you know, what I mean, there's a beginning, middle, and an end?
Yeah, it's going to be a book. No, he said it's going to be like a book.
Another Voyager style, you know, like Ship of the Week, Alien of the Week, maybe, with maybe a little background story somewhere. At least to start with, and then maybe get an overarching story later.
Brian's already said that the first season is one story.
Yeah, he said it's going to be chapter based, like a book, not episodic. Yeah.
So they're going down the Deep Space Nine route, which I think it worked with a lot of Star Trek fans.
It's not going to be an anthology now, so there's going to be one prevalent story.
But it worked for Enterprise. I must admit, the Zindi story I thought was brilliant.
Season 3 with the Zindi, all of a sudden, like, I remember watching Enterprise at the start and I found it very, very hard to watch, and I will admit that. And I remember I got broadband for the first time, and I was just mucking around, and I acquired an episode of Enterprise from the States, and it was the last one in season 2, and I was like, the Zindi, I'm like, oh my god. So from season 3 made me have a new love for Enterprise, and I went back and watched them all. But,
But like, that's a double-edged sword as well. Like, it did work partially for Enterprise, but if you have a crap story, then you're stuck with that for a season, you know, and people will just go like, oh, whatever. Whereas if you have episodic,
season 3 of Enterprise was really well, and then you just went into when they got back, you know, it ended crap, and then
moving on. But that's Star Trek for you.
There's two bits of information with this discovery that might be worth latching onto a little bit. One, they haven't got clearance yet to use this design from the Macquarie estate. And there's talking legal issues with that. So this ship might completely disappear by that point anyway.
True.
Oh no.
And
consider that, yeah.
And secondly, I don't know if you guys know, but Dr. Mae Jameson's been brought on board as a consultant from NASA, and she was in next.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Well, that'd be cool. Because I think that was the last.
In which episode, lads? Do you know?
I think Tony knows.
Second chance is the episode, Next Generation.
The thing is, I've got the bleeding scene in my head, but can I put it into a picture to the story? Can I help?
I'm the same. Go on, Tony.
Which episode was it? I can't remember.
Second chances.
Second chances. There you go. Did you know that in the comment section below? You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I knew that. I just don't know what Tony meant."
I think from Enterprise, one thing that was lacking, and I do agree with Doug Drexler on this one, is, you know, Star Trek is about seeing technology, and realistically, did we see any form of technology come out of Enterprise? You know, that we can use. There was really nothing there, and
but that's hard.
You look back at TOS, Next Generation. You know what I mean? There's lots of stuff now that you kind of turn back and laugh on, and you say, "Well, look at our mobile phones, look at our tablets." Nothing like that happened in Enterprise, and just because it's a prequel doesn't mean, you know what I mean, we can't see, the next line of cell phone.
I think I think the reason for that is a lot of it had been established in TOS, Next Gen, and Voyager and stuff.
Their hands are
so
tied.
You can't really go, "Hey, look at this marvelous technology that doesn't exist anywhere else." So you got to look at it.
I had no issue with the technology. I actually enjoyed the fact that we got to see the evolutionary jumps between torpedoes and quantum torpedoes. I love the fact that we got to see transporter technology evolving. I had no issue with the technology. It was the storylines.
I think the biggest problem they had with the technology in Enterprise was the fact they were trying to resolve the fact that we currently had technology that was ahead of stuff that was shown in TOS. And then got to show it developing to be in the original series. And you're just like, how do you make technology go backwards to match 60?
Yeah, but like...
Which is tough for Star Trek, about it going backwards. And that was one of the big kind of gripes about Enterprise. We're taking 2 steps back when we've always been going forward.
In script writing and stuff like that, there is opportunities to kind of introduce kind of what wouldn't be new tech in the Federation of, say, Nemesis.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like for modern day, for ourselves in the real world, to kind of turn around and go, "Oh, look at that new device! Jesus, that was in Enterprise." Star Trek are thinking ahead, and that lacked. And I think that was the cool thing, because as I said, like TOS is famous for the cell phone. Yeah. And now you look at the Next Generation and Picard's tablet, and we've all got tablets, and that for me is kind of like, that's a big part of Star Trek.
Yeah.
We need that.
We're 17 years down the line from Enterprise, yeah.
So you're basically hoping that in the new series they introduce sex bots.
That would make you happy, wouldn't it, Dave?
I'm just checking.
I think we know what David's hoping for. NCC, oh my.
Like a quarter on board the Discovery, they'd be delighted.
I can see your point. I can see your point, Chris. But yeah, it's unusual, like the timeline that this is going to be set in. And what do you think about the heavy use of Phase 2 concept art from Ralph? Phase 2 motion picture.
Fantastic. Bring more in.
Well, it was
surprising.
It was Planet of the Titans, wasn't it? It wasn't even Phase 2.
Yeah, Planet of the Titans. Yeah, exactly.
And then, in Beyond, was I the only one in Beyond who basically, when they did the saucer set, went, "I've seen that artwork somewhere."
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. I thought that was great. I loved that.
And it was exactly if you look at it, it's pretty much close to that concept art, which I thought was brilliant. And I'm wondering now, are CBS looking and seeing what the job that Paramount did, and seeing that they went back and looked at all sketches where they think, "Oh, we'll do the same," but no.
See, that's not a bad idea, because some of them old sketches of ships and designs and stuff are really, and it's nice that they're going back and having a look at this stuff rather than just going, right, we're disregarding everything, let's draw something new. Again, could work as well, But I think going back and having a look and looking at all the source material that's available, and rearranging it a bit here and there, and coming up with something new based on something else, kind of cool.
Well, that's why the remastered series looks so good, is because rather than going, we'll update the special effects with all shiny new effects, they went, we'll update the special effects to be what they should have been the first time round.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
Highlight.
And even using storyboards as well. In is it Operation Annihilate, where they're dropping the satellites in orbit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we finally got the storyboarded sequence that they could never afford to do back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's those little touches that just made such a difference.
Maybe they're just rediscovering the roots and trying to find their way back to the prime timeline in a way.
Possibly.
It might just be going through everything slowly just to relearn.
I'm going to throw one in there now. The deflector dish to me looks as though it's a dummy. You know what I mean? I think you can clearly see. I don't think that's actually any way near finished, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go with a TOS style dish, because it's too similar to another
one that's been taken out of an Excelsior class, doesn't it?
It does look like the Excelsior, yeah.
No, if they put the dish on it, it's a big giveaway then. You know when the timeline's set. And I think that would be cool, that design. I'd love to see that old deflector dish, you know what I mean, on that ship, and say, we're going back to the roots, and maybe I'd like it more, but I do think that deflector dish is not.
Well, at the end of the day, like you said with Enterprise and not showing new technologies, we know that they retrofit certain ships to try new technologies. The Excelsior being a prime example, where they were trying to warp drive. So maybe this is one where they're trying different deflector technology. They must have fiddled with that quite a lot.
It literally could be the ship that they try the Excelsior style deflector on, and before they built the Excelsior.
The test bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's got quite unique impulse engines as well. We have the two sets of 4 and kind of almost, what are the hexagonal?
That's on the NX stuff.
Layouts as well.
Again, it could be Tholian technology we're looking at there, Tholian impulse engine. It does look very much like a Tholian impulse engine.
It could be quite interesting to see. I mean, this is the other thing that this is the other thing that came to my mind was if the Prime Universe Defiant ended up in the Mirror Universe Enterprise series,
and so far back in the time,
what happened to the Defiant from the Mirror Universe if that ended up in the same kind of situation? Could that have ended up in the Prime Universe and under the control of Tholians?
So if there was like a mirror event of that,
that is a very interesting thought. I never thought of it like that. They could have done exactly the same thing.
Interesting.
Cobbled together, kit bashed the Defiant with another Federation ship and a Klingon ship with their own Tholian technology in there.
Well, the end of the Tholian had.
It's all simple then, anyway.
Yeah. Like I know people are throwing about the whole kind of Klingon kind of kit bash as well, but I like the idea of it. But when I look at the ship, and I know it's not finalized as well, but going on the minute that we have, bar the overall shape to a degree, it still doesn't look very Klingon though.
No.
In my mind, like where
Can I throw one thing out there? And I don't know, you guys definitely probably know, but wasn't a theory going back a long, long time ago about the Romulan warbird and the whole how it looks kind of like Federation? And was there not a theory going back at one point that was a stolen Federation? The Romulans had stolen a Federation ship, and they started cannibalizing and trying to get Federation technology.
Pop the nacelles onto the saucer.
Yeah. So when he designed the Bird of Prey, it was supposed they literally, if I remember rightly from what they said about the development of it, it's an Enterprise saucer.
Yeah.
And the warp nacelles as impulse engines strapped to it, and basically bits put onto it. Yeah. So that's where the design came from. When
it was nicked. The saucer set was kind of like a nicked Federation technology, but like if that's the case, that establishes, say, a Romulan ship.
Yeah.
And the Federation are at war again. It does make kind of sense that let's try and is it? But there is one thing in the timeline, like, well, I suppose. I think it's in Star Trek 4 that Kirk captured the first Klingon ship.
Yeah.
Well,
bird of prey.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah, no.
also, that bird of prey was originally designed to be Romulan.
Yeah.
Don't open another can of worms.
It's like up to the bottom of San Francisco Bay as well.
Yeah.
But they are stuck in that one now, so they can't kind of turn around and say, "Oh, we captured a Klingon ship," and
Yeah. But it might be if the Tholians did capture a Klingon ship. Was it after they swapped technologies with the Romulans as well?
Ooh, that'd be interesting. So kind of a Klingon Romulan.
Yeah. So it's
hybrid.
all sorts of tech.
That would be great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The ultimate Alpha Quadrant vessel. from the,
I'm sure people at home are like, this is only a minute long, stop going so deep into it, but this is fun. It's just a TV show.
This is positive debate.
Exactly.
I'm just getting hacked off with all the negative debate.
I mean, this is the thing. Is I still go back to the whole. When I first saw it, it's like it was basically originally designed to be a Constitution refit, but actually looks like bits of Constitution class starship that's been put onto a Star Destroyer. So any movement from there is great.
Yeah. True.
Well, okay, let's forget the ship. What do we think is going to happen? Series wise, what do we want? I'd love to see the Tholians brought into this because they're reformed.
What?
Neglected. Are just kind of they're out there. We have the Cardassians again that were never kind of brought into it early on. You know what I mean? There's so much they can actually really play around with here if they do go back in time, where people are giving out about.
They might even create a new race as well.
Yeah. But if you look at it, right, you can see different Tholian ships. You can see a different kind of Cardassian style ship going back, or I think they've so much to play around with in that time frame. But are we going to see? To me, I think, and it's there's a lot of weapons on this ship, but again, that's going into, we reckon, I think we're all happy enough with the theory that this is captured by the Tholians as cannibalized, so they explain the weapons. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be kind of like Deep Space Nine, Dominion War style. But do you think we're going to see kind of, are we going to see a Klingon war? Are we going to see a Romulan war?
Can I throw something out there?
They never expanded upon the Romulan war pre-TNG because the Romulan said we've been away for some time now. Obviously, a lot of people at the time were theorising, well, that was the Borg. They were off fighting the Borg.
Because in neutral zone, it was very,
because
very
the
clear.
neutral zone was very.
Yeah.
But it's never actually been specified, so we could have that whole thing. Enterprise brought in the Xindi, a whole new wave of Vulcan technology. We finally got to see Andorian storylines fleshed out.
Yeah.
Yes. The Andorians, yeah.
From the original series that appeared and said the Katorians. What the hell happened to them? We had one.
That's what I'm saying. I think. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that they've got lots of great stuff that can bring back, and it can appeal to, say, the new fans, and it will really appeal to the old fans. You know what I mean? I think bringing back that was one great thing, as you said, in Enterprise, the Andorians coming back.
Yeah.
And Jesus, their ship is deadly.
Oh.
You're like, whoa. Yeah.
And Mr. Combs is the Andorian. Awesome.
Yeah.
What would be interesting if they did some cameos of, say, Zon, MRES, and AREX, if they sort of turned up in the background or as little nods.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. If it is in the timeline we think it, in the time period we think it is, that'd be quite fun.
But
and why does Zon look like the station commander from Star Trek: The Motion Picture? How does that work?
He actually kind of does, doesn't he? Yeah, but just to kind of throw something out there as well, we have the teaser trailer, but remember we had the CBS All Access trailer months ago as well, showing the fly through. One thing we haven't talked about right now is the music in this current trailer. It kind of starts off Star Trekky, Starfleety, but then it definitely changes tone to, would you say, Klingon? Or
I think it's more of a temp track rather than anything else. Some music.
But we're talking about a temp ship here as well, possibly. And Brian Fuller did say that in the first, when we saw like the planets and stuff like that there was teasers and hints in there, and everyone was like, that looks like Praxis. Are we possibly looking at Hobus, the Hobus star exploding, or pre-explosion? So here we're looking at Klingons and Romulans, and we're talking about Klingons and Romulans now as well. So there's possibly a vein there that has been consistent through these two teasers. When you look at the music and stuff like that, I know we're talking about Tholians now, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, like there's something to be said about the audio that went along with it, like, in my mind.
I mean, it's interesting that I mean, from the design of the ship, it does suggest to me it's going to be somewhere between phase 2 would have been, and the undiscovered country. That's where it feels right for me, at least.
That's my kind of opinion. It's kind of swaying more that way now.
That would be cool.
Now,
I'd love to see.
Sorry.
I'd love to see a refit Constitution. I'd love to see, you know what I mean, an old honey. You know, as I said, I'd love to see the refit NX-01 as well, which they can do as well. Which that'd be cool. Like, bring back all those old beautiful ships.
But from that period, you did have a situation where, and it was never said in TOS that this happened, but on Earth there was an ambassador for Kronos and an ambassador from Romulus, which was never mentioned in TOS, but was obviously very clear in the films.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the start of them trying to have some kind of dialogue, which resulted in the Kittimer Accords for the Klingons, and obviously the Romulans then had their big problem and disappeared for 70 years.
Yeah.
And with whatever that was, whether it was the Borg or whoever.
That kind of makes sense. Like, you know, you have the Klingon and Romulan in neutral zone, so it kind of makes sense that you would have an ambassador, like, you know, to make sure that both sides are sticking out of those zones. So yeah, that could be something cool to see how that's established as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's obvious that we could mine this for quite some time. So why don't we move on to Beyond?
Yes.
You're itching to talk about
Everyone has probably seen Beyond now.
Shall we go Beyond?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Gentlemen, Beyond.
Right, I'm gonna say one thing. Everybody knows my hate for those movies. I actually love this one.
Yeah, with you on that one.
Yeah.
Won me over.
Felt like a Star Trek movie. All the characters did things. All the crew did stuff. You know, the way it just, hey, there's Sulu in the background, and hey, there's Chekhov in the background. They're there, honest. No, they actually did things.
Did you notice it was kind of right. The amount of Chekhov we've seen, the amount of Sulu was true to the old movies as well. It's like it's not like big thing about.
She was only in it for this long, but the time she was in it, awesome, completely kicked ass.
Yeah.
Jailer. Jailer.
Well, there's our new officer to be on the bridge for the next one.
I'd like that. I think that would be very good.
Yeah.
There's an interesting little bit of trivia I found out recently as well. Because it's the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, they threw in 50 new alien species.
That's right, Justin Lin.
Seen that. Yeah, that was very good as well. Yeah.
Subtle.
Nice. Slipped it in. It was kind of cool.
Now, how did
But, you know,
to Yorktown?
Yeah.
The Witch?
Yeah, I was a bit, huh? What?
I did like
the more I saw it, the more it kind of grew on me a bit.
I at the start initially when I said to Damien it looked like Atlantis from Stargate. You know, two versions of it with the shield. But as I said, the more I seen it, the more, as I say, I think that's going back to this is looking at the future, and you know, I mean, they're thinking outside, beyond. Like, you tell me in a sci-fi movie, where have you seen that side of a space station?
Well, it screamed Dyson Sphere to me, the technology that was in it.
Yeah. But
it was
different, the shield, and but to me, it was just completely different. It was brand new, and it made sense. And I loved the way that the whole docking thing, where the ship went in, it's underwater, and I loved that little bit where it so reminded me of Star Trek 3 at the start of Star Trek 3, where she's coming into space dock, and you know everyone's in the lounge, and I see Enterprise coming in, and she's damaged, but that whole, she was just going in nice and slowly,
saying
people around.
Star Trek 3. So you're saying that Star Trek 3 reminded you of Star Trek 3?
Yeah. It's a reference, yeah, JJ to the Star Trek 3, but that scene was lovely. But like, I love that whole docking thing, and the other thing as well was how quick the way it launched out of Yorktown as well, and to me that makes a lot of sense. It's not like this, let's go out half impulse. It was like, boom, we're clear.
Yeah.
Yorktown blew me away now. I have to say, I was well impressed.
I thought I did like, okay, the design is, yeah, it's radical, but you know, that's the whole reboot universe as well. But I like the idea that it would make sense that you'd have like a neutral, not even a planet, like a neutral zone for all these species, because again, you know, they would get a fence for space and stuff, you know.
Spock says it, like if we picked a planet, it could cause.
It's going to offend somebody.
Yeah. So like that was a great idea as well. Yeah, definitely. It was well thought out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I was just like the whole different multiple levels, kind of like one of those impossible pictures that, you know, like walking upside down from each other and stuff. Like
Inception, where they fold the street over. You know.
Yeah.
But of course, if it's using Dyson sphere type technology, the gravity's wherever.
You'd have to have a central gravitational force.
Exactly. There does seem to be a lot of thought around it, and like again, the visual cues that you could take from that, like that scene that Chris is talking about, where the ship just like flies in, but then the aftermath as well, where we see the Franklin ram. Like, this is going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, shame on you. But where it rams through the docking doors, and then it breaches the water like a whale, and just like,
yeah, that was cool.
Oh, god damn it, that was so cool.
It's showing that the water was being kept where it was by a force field, so the ship comes through the force field
on both sides. Like so cool.
Like a kind of shuttle bay force field.
Yeah.
What I have to say, once we discovered a few interesting bits and pieces, because Damien was talking to Sean, and then more information came out about the Franklin. That one, it was designed as a cargo ship, and then we found out more information again that the background is that, and I theorized this before we found out, was what you call it, that it was a Mako ship.
Yeah.
To me, it makes sense. I did say that, like everyone going on, it's a Warp 4. Like if you look at the time, you have Starfleet, you have the Makos. You've also Section 31 in early development, probably. But you got to realize, Starfleet, the Makos are a military organization. They're not just going to sit back and go, okay, Starfleet are in charge of space, and we just be the army in case anything happens. They're going to develop their own things. So, in between, say, the Federation trying to, or Starfleet, trying to get their warp program in line. You know what I mean? They have Warp 3. They're jumping to Warp 5. To me, it makes sense that the Makos have a Warp 4.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
And then when Federation's actually founded, all of those ships then get folded into the new Starfleet and get their designations and names and everything. And they're all NXs because they're not Federation ships. They're prototypes from before the Federation. So why would you call them anything but other NX at that point?
Yeah.
Franklin makes a lot of sense, and I don't know why this whole now I was one of the first ones to turn around and say NX class and all that, but to me I think the Franklin is absolutely, like, I love the way the Desires
old school
hummed TOS, and the leaked footage that we all seen was that horrible JJ blue, but when I seen the Franklin engines come on and I just seen that old school.
Yeah, me too.
God, that is just so TOS. That again, little things like that warmed to me so much.
Yeah, completely agree. And one of the things I wasn't looking forward to was the bike and the Beastie Boys stuff, and then that actually made sense.
Me too.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Me too. I was 100% same as you said. I was like,
they used it in a really cool way. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. Like, I tell you now, if I was a captain of a ship and I had a choice to put something in my ready room or anything like that, bike or fish. And that makes sense as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? It's your ship. You know what I mean? You take along a person. There's this whole lot of nonsense about why is there a bike on this ship.
between seasons, they're not going to kill as many bikes as
they won't boil so many bikes. No, keep the bikes on over the weekend.
Poor fish.
Livingston.
I'm just going to take the bike for a spin.
The only problem with the bike though is you got to remember that you can beam the bike down to the planet, but you have to take a shuttle pod down.
Yeah.
Some alien doesn't nick.
And we saw the shuttle pods in the captain's log.
Yeah, seen it. Yeah, there is. It's one of the logs. Was I?
Not the captain. Yeah, it was like the when they're in the cargo bay and you just see that shot
the
going.
First scene, you see a shuttle pod, which is again, they've kind of sewn a lot of things up, and I think, like to me, I'm still blown away. I think the storyline was absolutely amazing. I think this whole thing where people don't get the crawl thing, go back, watch it again. It is actually there. It's an advanced planet. Drone miners. There's his army. There was 3 survivors, and if you look at it, there is only 3 of Kralls.
Aliens, yeah.
That gets the Enterprise into the trap. There's Krall, and then there's number 2. I can't remember his name. There's the 3.
Yeah.
Tegan, is it? I think.
Sorry?
Tregan,
yeah.
Possibly.
That, to me, again, thought out, perfect. You know,
and it's actually all said in the movie. it's like the whole villain. I'm going to tell you my plan now, and it's all said, and people still are like, oh, rabble. You know.
Initially, then, you know, we seen the Irish premiere, and we came out. We said, yeah, we'd have to rewatch it. And anyone that I talked to says, yeah, we have to see it again. But you know, it's like after Into Darkness, I have to watch this again, but geez, I'm not looking forward to watching it again. But with Beyond, it's like I had no problem watching it again. I'm picking up.
I want to watch it again and look at the background and see things I missed, because I'm sure there's hundreds of little Easter eggs all over the place. Yeah,
like when you're talking about Easter eggs, like we have the NX 326, which was Leonard Nimoy's birthday. Kirk talks about his 5-year mission being episodic as well, which I thought was a bit cool, tongue in cheek.
An opening sequence that felt like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
I like at the end when he says whiskey was invented by a little old lady from Leningrad. Thought, yes, that's cool.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, like going back to like the way the movie starts, and if you remember, I can't remember which TOS episode it is, and like William Shatner, Kirk turns around and goes, "I'm not a diplomat," and then that opening scene with, you know, Chris Pine trying to be a diplomat, and it falls apart. That is TOS, you know what I mean? Kirk isn't a diplomat, you know, and it was absolutely brilliant, you know.
The story worked slightly better as if they got McCoy to rip his shirt and give him a hyper spray.
No, I know.
It's like in Futurama where he just rips his shirt.
If we go back to one, I think it's one of our first podcasts with Damien, I turned around and said it started off with Alien. I was kind of hoping it'd be a Gorn at that point, and I think that would have been cool, you know. Just if they just open up with like
this rigid
Chris Pine with stick against the Gorn and the beam them up. But no, I like the little aliens. I thought they were brilliant. And then there's one that's just happens to be wearing a crew uniform, hanging around Scotty's buddy
Kevin
at the end.
Yeah.
Then he says, "Oh,
you're still not wearing any pants, Kevin."
Yeah, he flew through Starfleet, didn't he?
You can in that universe. I mean, you can go from cadet to captain in literally an hour. So, you know.
Yeah, Super Kirk.
Can anyway,
Super Kirk.
But Simon Pegg.
One thing I don't want to talk about is the destruction of the JJ Prize. That I was like, yes, but the way it was destroyed, I actually went, oh shit.
That was.
I did not want to see it get drilled into a million pieces.
Wasn't it vicious? Wasn't it vicious?
Kind of sad. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what it was? I know why that was. It wasn't the ship. It was the fact that you could see Starfleet officers being killed as it happened. That was what was bothering you. Because personally, I could wait to see that ship fight to death.
No, I agree with you, but
killed as it happened.
I love the crash sequence of the saucer as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, but the refit now, it did look kind of a little bit better as a refit, and
yes,
the whole
I totally agree.
One nitpick that I'm going to say that I did notice, right? They first away go for the deflector dish, and when the deflector dish goes gone, Sulu says, "Can't get our shields up." Now, the deflector dish to me is not a shields generator.
Yes, I shifted in my seat at that point. Like,
Now that's an issue, but if you look at it though, if you take out the deflector dish, it's very dangerous going to warp.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, it's still kind of correct, but just that whole the background story, how to take out, which you know what I mean, was spot on. He knew Starfleet, he knew the ship, so you know what I mean. He had an idea where the nacelles were, cut them off. That's their engines.
That was cool actually. And he said, "No, we're going to need to warp. The nacelles have gone."
Right, and that was like straight away. Straight away that happened.
Just that wave that went in and took them out was amazing. And Scott, he turned around, they're gone, and you're just looking, going, wow. But I think it's just well done.
Did you see that the Budweiser brewery was missing from those scenes?
Yeah.
But if you look then as well for the separation part as well, that Krall only orders the neck to be snapped. You know, when Scotty manages to get impulse on. So if you even look at his understanding of, like, he doesn't fully understand Federation technology. He's gone for the primary things that he knows: the cells, the deflector dish, and because they're able to get the warp reserve going for the impulse, he goes snapper, which I thought was like, it's well thought out. And that whole scene was amazing. That whole scene with the saucer section hitting the planet, and when Kirk comes out of the Kelvin pod and the music, it was fantastic. And, do you think it was a homage to Star Trek 3 in a kind of way where I know it was Kirk, McCoy, and who else was there? The three of them, and they just see, or there's five of them. Sorry,
they're watching it go down. Yeah,
but it's just it was brilliant.
There's quite a lot of Star Trek 3 references in there. You know, you've got, like you said earlier, with the docking in the Yorktown, the destruction of the Enterprise, and watching it, you know, come down. It's quite. I was like, oh, Star Trek 3. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know.
I quite like the fact that it makes it very clear that the saucer section couldn't operate while it was still docked to what was left of the neck.
Yeah, it's still looking for the warp core.
Yeah, but I think even that makes sense. Like, you know, you got the secondary hull is bunched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the primary hull is meant to be like either a lifeboat or a separate ship. So if you've dead weight, to me, it does make perfect sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there left. It's in bits. You know what I mean? It's if it's designed to separate, it needs to be separated. So yeah. I thought that was clear as well. That was brilliant.
What did you think of what they did with the saucer section after it landed, after it crashed?
Oh, when they went back aboard it, yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm looking at David going,
the whole thing was made out of flammable material, and yet you could slide down it. Yeah, I mean, that's just
not one nick of a metal shard on the way down.
I really did enjoy it, but there were bits that I was like, well, that makes no sense. Like, they flew over it, and you could literally see every other meter the damn thing was on fire. There's only so much plasma you can have kicking around it. Last time I checked, you're going to get metal very hot before it just burns.
And I was quite impressed with the reactors working enough to get the thrusters to move
all the thrusters. And what the other big bonus to it, considering we'd seen how much of it was on fire, a structural integrity field that was still working enough.
Actually, inertial dampeners, come here. What is the story with the JJ Enterprise on inertial dampeners? Like, the bridge has, if you want to be on your feet, the bridge is it. But after you get out of the bridge, you're punched. Yeah. What are they doing every time? It's like sliding down corridors. You're like inertial dampeners guys, and then on the bridge.
It's a good thing they have no carpet.
That's another nitpick now. You know, to me, like, it's like, how can they all be? And then, like, I think Chekhov says, Captain Inertial Dampeners, and they're like, really? He's sliding down the ship, and he's been told inertial dampeners are failing all over the ship. But there's something they love throwing
people around.
Yeah, I want to be a Starfleet officer in that universe.
No.
It's a bad universe.
So unbelievably fragile as well.
It was a great post going, I think it was on US Cuchulainn, Damien, that they were asking, like, they were questioning, like, Kirk in the JJ verse, and does he have no respect to
ships,
the Enterprise? And I turn around, in fairness,
insurances,
right, battle a ship from the future, right? He's gone up against a Section 31 elite kind of warship. Yeah, he doesn't really have a chance at the moment. Like, in fairness, you know what I mean. And
well, he got 3 years out of this one, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he got 3 years out of it. But like looking at what they're trying to like. We know there's a Star Trek 4 coming from it, and we know that Captain Kirk's going to be his dad. But obviously, there's going to be a bit of time travel in there. But like, imagine if it was kind of like the Guardian Forever, the Doomsday machine. Like
Doomsday's got to be coming up at some point that year.
Go back and look towards the episodes as opposed to following suit with Star Trek. Well, they can't really follow, but no, they can't really follow suit with Star Trek 4. Apart from going back to time travel and home.
You could have the probe turn up again, I guess.
Yeah,
the whale
but
probe,
I think I'd love to see the Guardian Forever, and it's a Doomsday scenario, and the Enterprise is thrown back in time to help Kirk's dad.
Coming back, isn't it?
Yeah,
and that'd be cool then, because and like I hate this thing that they do kind of sometimes as well, and I hope that with the new show Discovery, you know what I mean, Starfleet isn't, or the Federation isn't one crew, and it'd be nice to kind of, see an interreaction. Like it was great when the Star Trek movies, when Sulu moved to the Excelsior, it was kind of great that you got familiarized. Finally, there's another crew. There's actually another ship in the quadrant, apart from the Enterprise.
Yeah, they're not all in the Rentian system.
I'd love to see that. Like, that because I think in the Star Trek movies, when Sulu moved to captain, I thought you recognize some of the cast that were on the Excelsior. It was another crew, and you went, "This is cool."
Yeoman Rand.
Federation, one ship, so.
But it's always good when two crews are sort of together. It's like when Voyager ran into the Equinox.
Yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, I'm proven.
Or as they call it, Equinox, and I just want to slap Janeway and go, "No, Equinox." In fact, Equinox.
Yeah. What worries me about that is, with Next Gen, they touched on the fact that there was crew members coming on and off the ship. Ensigns and lieutenants, but never anybody higher than that.
Yeah.
They run into the Phoenix in the Wounded, and the only crew member we saw was the captain. We didn't see any of the crew. It's just Captain Benjamin Maxwell. And then again, you just occasionally met up with captains. Very rarely, but it was either commanders, like you say, lieutenants, coming in from another ship, being an expert of something, and then like Shelby. But then, like I said, when Voyager ran into
the USS Hood in Next Generation, you've never seen it happen.
At least 3 times.
It's the USS Hood again. How you doing, guys? Let's come over to Town Forward. We'll have an old get together.
Episodes of TNG was Lower Decks, and that was exactly why you got to see the crew.
Yeah.
And they're looking up at the bridge officers, going,
And I like that fact that
that's a very cool way.
As well, you're like one of the crew, and things are happening that you don't know what's happening because you
very Battlestar Galactica vibe, like.
Yeah. That's a really good example. Yeah.
Thrown back into the Discovery, actually, the way the back of the ship looks like a big, massive shuttle bay. There's one thing that we've never seen before. We've seen in Deep Space Nine and the Dominion War all the Federation fighters. Is it a carrier for fighters?
That would make it a huge.
We haven't actually ever seen one. Like those Federation small ships just don't.
Well, apparently the Akira class is supposed to be a fighter.
A carrier, yeah.
Yeah, but we've never seen it.
We've never seen it, no, yeah. Because the middle deck is a shuttle bay. The whole deck is.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who has a problem with the idea of Federation fighter craft?
Yes.
Established. I've got a big issue with that. I don't mind shuttlecrafts. I don't mind shuttlecrafts being armed. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a craft. That's what the starships are for. You don't need little fighter crafts.
Look what crowded to the
explore space, peaceful, yay, humanity's moving past things.
Unless it's something that's mothballed and only brought out when it's required.
Yeah, it could be reactionary, just like the Defiant. The Defiant was commissioned to fight the Borg. So maybe there's something, and they're like what Chris was saying there when Spock turns around saying we're not equipped to handle this type of attack. Maybe a carrier would.
I hate the idea of the Federation having fighter craft. I really hated it when TNG were on about the Marquee, going, well, these crafts were. It's like, no, those aren't Federation. There might be human-made, but they're not Federation ship.
Mm.
Yeah, but they had altered them to make
Yeah,
them
the
step
market
up.
had altered them, but I had a huge problem with that because for me, Starfleet has always been the best part of humanity. It's always been us pushing forward.
But
Yeah.
then when you come up against things like
The
Dominion,
Borg, you have to.
Dominion fighters,
Yeah, I know,
need the
but
ship-to-ship.
Demodar, yeah.
The
yeah, I
bug
know, but
ships.
you necessarily build a starship and go, you know what, let's stick in. I know we've never had this.
In the case of the Maquis, I think, you know, the Dakota is Maquis, you know, the Jude class, or whatever class
Yeah.
they decide to call it this week. You can see that they could be civilian ships, and then they've got them, modified them, still weapons, slapped a torpedo launcher on it, and, you know, that has some sense. But like you say, they've got all these advanced fighters, but why not the flying runabouts? That could do the job easily as well. We see that in... Well, we don't see them fight. We see them flying around as part of a fleet in... Oh, I can't remember the episode title. It is Purgatory Shadow, the one with, you know, Bashir's... Spoilers, Bashir being a changeling, and you see the runabouts flying around the front side.
Yeah.
I thought, yes, runabouts could work, but then they just went, oh, we've got all these other ships we'll put in for some reason. But like Sven said, though, they could be mothballed and then brought out in response to the Dominion.
You don't want to see Federation fighters and so forth like that, and that's fine. But and you mentioned then the Borg, and then we mentioned the Jem'Hadar and the Dominion. But again, we don't know too much about the Tolians, and we know their technology is fairly superior to from
Yeah, it's
DOS.
pretty. Yeah.
So they could be the Borg of that timeline, which would make them a really
Ooh,
good to bring out the fighters. And the Tolians use small ships as well.
that would be a cool scene if they
Indeed.
encounter Tholians and they've caught a Borg cube in the web. That would be an amazing shot.
Just slicing.
But and the Tolians do disappear from Star Trek timeline. Like they're never kind of mentioned.
There's only mentioned in references like when Captain Sisko gives Cassidy Yates for president. He goes, "Oh, where did you get Tholian silk? Tholian ambassador owed me a favour," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You never really see them get into Enterprise.
Yeah, so there's mentioned briefly in Deep Space Nine as a Tolian ambassador. So you know, that's wide open for a Tolian war.
Interesting.
Because, like I say, I mean, the Tholians are very warlike. They're xenophobic. They're everybody that isn't a Tholian. So that would be a really good idea to throw in there. And like they've only been, we've only had fleeting glimpses in Enterprise, and they look cool. I want to see more Tholians, especially on like in Star Trek Line when you fight the Tholians. Quite hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't tend
the Borg will push over, the Dominion will push over. The Tholians, I'm kind of going, hang on, I don't quite want to fight these guys just now.
Yeah.
How does
maybe this is the start of the conflict between them, and it could be fairly cool.
And then it goes back into the fact, what we were saying earlier about the ship being part Klingon, part Romulan, part Tholian, part Federation, all thrown together. And it's like, hang on, why have they got this tech?
Yeah.
They shouldn't have any of it. And, multiple story
Interesting.
options there.
Interesting. I was just wondering, how did we get back onto Discovery?
I sidetracked it. I'm gonna put my hand back.
Hour and a half.
me and Sven have the same idea. Like, oh, back to Beyond.
Causality loop.
Yeah, one thing that I wonder how many of you, I assume you all picked up on this, was the whole idea of the Yorktown building the Enterprise A.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. That was nice.
That was nice. Yeah, the renaming of it.
And reference again, which was cool. What else was kind of cool from
when I first remember when Commodore Paris, which again I thought was a nice touch. Do we see lineage there? But she mentioned when Kirk was having his, kind of getting sick of it and maybe want to be a vice admiral, and she was saying that didn't she mention that they were building a ship, but that their most advanced ship, but then that the Enterprise was the only ship that could respond. My first thought to that initially was that the Excelsior or something that they were building there? But then it turns out to be, it does turn out to be the Enterprise A at the end. Yes, spoilers, we've already said it. But there was just so many little nods like that I thought was really cool.
No, I knew straight away that was going to be the A. Excelsior didn't even crop into my mind. A
Why have you been
JJ
young until it's
sells
now?
I was with
Yeah.
Chris. We knew this ship was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so we knew, but like,
Yeah.
I would like to see, in fairness, I would like to see a JJ versus Excelsior.
Actually, you know what? My
That would be freaking huge.
I would like to see what they
As
can
long
do there.
as long as it doesn't have the massive clown tuna cells,
All right.
that'd be fine.
Seems that we're talking about
I'm
ships.
hoping they can.
Oh, I hit my camera there. Seems that we're talking about ships. Obviously, we've talked about JJ and JJ Universe before, with the Geekology and Soundwave. But what do you think about the A? Obviously, you weren't the biggest fans of the JJ prize. What do you think of the A?
It looks like
the peg
the,
yeah, Peg Prize is
like
fun.
it should. It looks like it should have done back then. You know,
Agreed.
they've got rid of that stupid overhang at the front of where the deflector dish is. They moved the saucer forward, and more importantly, register number underneath the saucer section.
Yeah.
And the cells are kind of placed a lot. I know it was
Yeah.
in the recon, but to replace, they were just. I think the cells are the big stuff.
It looks really nice. Well, not really nice. It looks nicer, should I say?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and again, the same thing I got from watching this film is, why wasn't this the first one?
Yeah. Why,
But I think
guys? I've only just realised this, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me earlier. But why was Kirk going for such a big promotion? He skipped a rank.
To Vice Admiral.
All ranks.
He would have needed to be Commodore before Admiral.
Maybe
Well,
going down the road
he-
of Commodore-
if you go to it, I think it'd be related to what you call it, Can incident and Into Darkness, and isn't what you call it. You know what I mean? Obviously, you'll get Admiralty. He has Admiralty after that one.
And his
It's
promotion
an Admiral.
previous has been quite. He went from cadet to captain.
He always thinks hard that don't accept promotion because he always regretted accepting promotion. That's why he was happy when he was demoted back to captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, as a Commodore, he could have had the ship, and then you could have had Captain Spock with.
You have
First
to bear in
officer.
mind. You have to bear in mind though, in the TOS is the only time you ever saw a Commodore who wasn't in charge of a starbase. He managed to put his ship
Put
into
the ship into the
Doomsday
Romulan,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let a Commodore in charge of your ship.
No.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Dead right. Dead
That's
right.
why they got rid of the rank. It's like, no, that's just
Yeah, because it didn't end well for them. It didn't end
No.
well.
No.
Well, if a Commodore was to have a starship, it would be painted red.
Why does no one want to work on this ship? No. Yeah, but no, I thought there's a lot of potential with the A. There's a lot of classic elements there. The neck, the deflector dish is kind of brought back in line with the neck, and the ventral and dorsal sections of the saucer section aren't as exaggerated as previous. And like the only kind of thing that does change the profile is the nacelle placement, but I like it more than the ship that's gone before. It'd be interesting to kind of see it in a lot more detail because it's done.
Yeah.
The way it's
But when you were talking to Sean,
yeah.
Damien, like you brought up the point as well that like what you call it, the A was what you call it improved on after the attack.
It was
From
designed in response
Wow,
to
so, like, the whole neck. It seems more protected, and the nacelles.
I'm sure the
Look,
pylons
I-
have some sort of reinforcements in there now.
I think Sean's done a great job with the refit and the A so far. Now it's very hard until we actually see it. But like I know what you call it, after San Diego Comic-Con, there was a model there of the refit. Talking to a couple of guys, we all reckon it definitely is the refit.
Mobius,
And
yeah.
it looks absolutely amazing. And I'm there like, for years looking at the JJ prize and going, not on my life am I buying one because it looks
It's
crap.
interesting that Brian Church didn't design the A. It's a new
No.
designer. So
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah, and I assume that new designer also had some input into the refit of what we call JJ prize. So maybe he's obviously more a classic Trek fan, original series fan.
Yeah.
And put a bit more into it.
Like
No, so
Sean,
actually, believe it or not, Sean designs the Yorktown and Franklin and the A. I believe only went to see Beyond yesterday.
Yeah. He wanted all the cues to die down, but when talking to Sean, he's not a massive Star Trek fan, but he's a fan of Matt Jeffries, and he's a fan of the original series, and he was tasked with kind of updating the refit, and he said he didn't do too much to it, bar the nacelles. They were tweaked in proportion, but that, like you mentioned there, Chris, when tasked with doing the Enterprise A, like the details of having the angle return to the leading edge of the saucer section, just like in the Enterprise original series, but that it had to be designed in response to how the refit was destroyed, you know, the neck, the pylons and stuff like that as well. But again, that has to have his own touch on it too, like he said. But you know, the way it was debuted on screen, I thought was cool. But still, you're like, slow down, let me absorb the details, slow down a bit.
Yeah.
You know.
I love the fact that the bridge module was plugged in quite late on.
Yeah.
And that was obviously clearly, it's that the bridge module and the computer core below it was all modular, so they can just nip it out and replace it when the system's upgrade.
Really, now the next thing that I would like, JJ Star Trek 4, I'm just gonna call it. I really hope they tone down the bridge.
Oh, so it's not like an Apple store.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want some? Do you want some, like, there's going to be some natural wood tables in there?
Walls, nice handheld control, a nice captain's chair, just a nice bridge. I don't know, something in the kin like of Star Trek 6. I think is my favourite Constitution class bridge.
Yeah,
that was a lovely.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Box as well above every console.
Who is on the JJ Prize bridge?
Yeah.
It's a 20.
I've got an image of Chris Pine sitting in the chair now going, I miss my old chair.
But I don't mind. I don't mind the amount of people on the bridge, because like this is a massive freaking starship. You would expect that there would be department heads and, you know, stuff like that. Like you look at Battlestar Galactica and you have the tiered room as well. But I like in the new movie how we're not seeing the Delta vomited on every surface. Like, the uniforms have changed. We do see, like, the logo on the cup, and it's a little bit here and a little bit there on the T-shirts. But it's just not, like, the uniform that preceded it. Remember, it was just, like, all the little deltas going across it.
That's, again, going back to the cup thing, is going back to Star Trek 6, Zulu. Yeah. Which is a nice little touch again, like, you know, like these little marks of, you know what I mean. There was thought put into little bits and pieces to show this is the 50th year of Star Trek, which I liked. Something simple, go up with the Delta, nice.
Yeah,
I think we all wanted that little tea set that Sulu had, you know, sitting on the.
Oh, hang on. I like it.
What I'd like, you know, the mugs on the Defiant. I want those, them replicated mugs.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I wouldn't think now, like that when I first seen that, like, Sulu drink tea, just doesn't seem like a tea kind of guy, you know. But maybe like, I'm captain now, I have to cup of tea.
But if you tie into the Voyager thing, it's Vulcan tea.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tuvok suddenly on Big Celsius.
I really
Agreed, David. Agreed. We could be here for like 7 hours, I'd say.
So why don't we have another discussion about Romulan tea on another day and wrap it up?
Exactly.
We all agree that Into Darkness was a great film.
What?
No.
No.
You need some coffee, David.
I think David needs to put screen in.
Stop me! I tell you, I could have at least got 2 of them to go through that. Alright. Okay, so, are we all agreeing that we like the film? It's all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Blu-ray purchase for me.
Yeah, definitely a Blu-ray.
Try and get the Amazon one with the Franklin.
Yeah. Pre-orders are open.
Say that, yep.
Canada. That's where
you're going to get it from Canada. How strange is that?
Because I'm not buying a British one because it doesn't come with a 4K disc in it. Yeah. All the other ones come with a 4K disc and it's cheaper.
What's the one from Canada? You get the 4K and a DVD as well, is it?
It's the American and the Canadian one. You get the normal Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray, and the 3D Blu-ray. And the UK one at the moment, it looks like you just get the normal Blu-ray, and it's more expensive.
Oh, shenanigans.
Yep.
Stop that.
Right, so basically, all 4 channels think Beyond is marvellous. I can't stop me doing that.
And let us know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree.
Damien was always going to like this movie, you know what I mean?
I was always going to like it. I'm just glad everyone else likes it. And what's
more surprised by me.
Yeah. And like, are we all in agreement that there's still the judges are still out on Discovery? It's too early to really make any.
Until we've all seen the first episode, there's nothing to judge.
And we could be a completely different ship by then. We just really don't know anything at this rate.
Before we finish up, then.
All we know is that it's called Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. All we know.
Before we finish
STD.
Let's get everyone when we think it's set. So I'm saying NXTOS. Damien, when you saying it's been set?
I'm thinking kind of TMP to Star Trek 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think after Undiscovered Country, I think sort of in between that and leading up to Stargazer, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, to me, the ship is clearly from the TMP type era, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's when the series is going to be set.
True.
But if that does tie up, then yes, it's going to be maybe just before TMP through to round about Star Trek 4 or 5 kind of time, I would guess.
Okay, nice. We all got.
And Dave.
And like I said, it could be set just after the movies, and because Stargazer is a TMP-looking ship, and we don't get anything until Next Generation, the Enterprise D. Everything's TNG, TMP rather. Good, it's there.
What do you think?
I think.
I think it's set just before Star Trek 6. I think it'll be just before 6.
Just before 6.
Because for me, that makes the most sense for storylines, because you've got all the classic, you're just leading into TNG, you've got all the technology switches going over. That'd be nice, but yeah, we don't know until they do.
Because there's actually quite a big gap, isn't there? Because Star Trek 6 seems to be a long time after Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
In the way of talking, everybody's reacting. And of course, between 4 and 6, you've got the little nugget of 5, but everything in between just seems so glossed over, and we don't know anything that happened during that period, virtually, other than visiting.
That's great theory, because it fits into, as I said as well, like what you got at that Discovery model was actually used in Star Trek 3. You know what I mean? It's in so that's a nice little tie-in if they do that. You can kind of go, stock and reuse stock footage of. At least we know what the space stock's going to look like.
Sure. Yeah.
True.
Nothing new.
No. Listen, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there, yeah?
Yeah.
Before we bore everybody else.
Collaboration, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and do check it out on our channels. We'll be, I think most of us will be uploading it anyway. I know.
Yeah,
but Tony's like, I didn't hit record. No worries, guys. Again, thanks for joining us, and don't forget, check out the guys' details in the description below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channels, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
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 Adios.
Well, that was really interesting. You know what? I love talking to those guys, but you know what? I'm going to have a buzzer or something, because I always end up trying to talk over them.
It might literally be the floor recognises.
The floor recognises that David really wants to rant about
something.
You know what it is? It's because those guys are as passionate as we are. But I tell you, it's
and the level of knowledge in that conversation is scary.
Yeah, you love the fact that when you don't even need to finish the sentence, it's move on.
Because I mean, this is the thing. There's some of the discussion that's been going on the internet where people haven't realised that the Discovery design is from '76, for instance. Yeah. And it's nice, you know, these guys.
It is good when people go, "Didn't you like that?" Yeah. How about, it was great. Yeah. Did you notice that? Oh, yeah.
Yorktown, yeah.
Right, well, we hope you enjoyed the collaboration. Feel free to leave comments down below. Subscribe to their channels, they're really good. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe to ours. You can follow us on both Facebook and Twitter. And of course, there is the official Geekology website. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye.
Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David.
And I'm Sven.
And today you're about to see video footage of a collaboration's a really easy word.
No, it's not. So I'll let you off.
Alright, I'm gonna go. 3, 2, 1. Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David.
And I'm Sven.
And you're about to see video footage of a collaboration conversation that Sven and I have had with a couple of other YouTube channels. People who have similar ideas. Oh fuck, I don't know why I'm going.